everyone, welcome back to GhostPrime's Transformer Reviews. Today we'll be taking a look at War for Cybertron Siege Ironhide. Now Ironhide has had a few figures over the years, starting with the 1984 Ironhide, and that one a lot of people didn't like. He wasn't super popular because he did not represent the characterization he had on screen. The original Ironhide didn't have a head. He didn't have a head because he came from the Diaclone line, where they were piloted mecha rather than sentient robots. And he had a seat. Well, when Hasbro released it originally, he had a sticker for a head. It didn't cut it for a lot of people. So, fast forward to today, this is the most accurate cartoon representation of Ironhide that I believe we've gotten in this scale. Now, the Masterpiece one was very nice and very, very cartoon accurate. But in this scale, I believe this is the most accurate one. We did get one for the Classics line, but he was less than perfect. He was a good figure, had an Earth mode. Now, he doesn't have an Earth mode, which I'll get to in the transformation, but he definitely characterizes Ironhide very, very well. I love this weapon. This weapon is so cool. So he was packaged originally, or he was packaged in the Siege line with a slight, very slight mistransformation. And I've seen a lot of people carry this over and not realize how the correct way to transform him is. It doesn't show it in the instructions, but it's the chest piece. Now, I will go over that in the review. So, without any further ado, let's get to the review. All right, let's take a look at Ironhide's box first. He comes in the standard Siege box. He has a wonderfully rendered image on the side here of Ironhide holding his missile launcher. On the back, you see him again holding his missile launcher. You see him in his Van Cybertronian mode and a few of the Battle Masters, how he can hold the Battle Masters. One thing to note on the back of this, he doesn't have a little gray piece on the chest. Very small little thing, and the front of his missile launcher isn't as red. It is red, but not as largely painted as that. That's the only real key differences. Bottom is legal stuff, as normal. Side has the other rendered image, that is the Siege logo image. Top. Inside the box, you will get the instructions. Here on the front. Very nice instructions. They do miss one small detail because it starts in robot mode, which I'll get to in the review. And here he is in robot mode. Now, as you can see, Ironhide is a really good figure. He has a wonderful face sculpt. Lots of detail on him. Kind of going all the way out, all the way throughout his figure. He does have some of this Siege battle-worn paint on his feet, which it looks like it's just all plastic, so if you want, you could probably just take that off with some rubbing alcohol. I don't think it looks too bad on him. It makes sense that it's on the feet. He's not all strewn about on the arms or anything. He's got this wonderful detail, just wonderful detail all the way around. Now, on my camera, this is showing up as two different color plastics. They actually, by eye, they look very similar. I don't know why they're showing up like this on camera. That happened with my Studio Series 38 Prime too. Something with Samsung's camera. So you got the Autobot logo, and here's the back. Even all the little indented parts are just detailed up very nicely. Look at the back of the legs. Look at all that detail, all that sculpted detail. Very cool. He does have some hollow arms there, which is kind of a shame. But it's not too detracting from the figure. Now, he does come with his weapon here, which is a missile launcher. Now, the missile launcher, this is a very, very cool weapon. This is definitely one of my favorites. It could also double as a hammer. You can hold it in there like that. And then he could hammer and explode things with his hammer. He could hold it like that, or he could hold it like... Ugh, it's hard to get in there. Hold it like that. Or he could underfire his missiles, kind of like a briefcase. because he's just that badass. It's a very cool weapon. Now he has a lot of these ports on him, for the weaponizer figures. He has one on each foot, one on the flaps here, two on the arm. These actually could work as them as well. And you could also put the gun in each one of these ports. So you could have a shoulder-mounted weapon. You could have an arm cannon weapon, leg weapon. He even has one on the back, which is fantastic. So he can hold his weapon on his back, or work with the other weaponizer figures. Very cool. Lots of playability with him. Now let's do some size comparisons before we get into transformation. Here he is with the classics. I just look silly compared next to him. This is the classics Ironhide, the original one that came out. In comparison, they did so much of a better job on this guy than they did on this guy. And you can see he's even a little taller. So this guy will fit in the classic collection should you just choose to have him for classics. Here he is next to his Generation 1 incarnation. There he is next to his masterpiece incarnation of the character. One thing to note, he doesn't have the masterpiece characterization of the head like a lot of the Siege figures do. He seems to have a very unique sculpt to this figure, which I think works better, looks very good. Okay, let's zoom back in on this guy. Now for articulation. So, he has these little panels which are mainly used for transformation, but they give him a little bit of a movement here. Shoulder movement out, all the way around, twist, 90 degrees at the elbow, and wrist swivel. His head, up and down, all the way around. I can't see, well, maybe it is on a ball joint. His head was very tight, and it took me a minute to have to loosen it up when I first got the figure, so be cautious of that. He does have a full 360 at the waist. He has 90 degrees at the knee. Get his arm out of the way there. 90 degrees at the knee, all the way out. He has joints on the right swivel joints, and he has ankle rotation all the way up to 90. No front and back, just side to side like a lot of the figures. But it does give him a nice range of motion for poses. Now, before I get to transformation, one more thing I want to mention, it has to do with transformation, is this chest piece. Now, in package, he is packaged like this. And nowhere in the instructions does it say to bring this down. There's a little ridge right here, and there's these two little, you can see him right there, two little notches, and then this ridge. And that ridge goes directly in this notches, like that, giving him a much more Ironhide-like profile, rather than the flat way he comes in the box. Just wanted to get into that to show everyone that there is the correct transformation. Now, on the pictures on the back of the box, he is transformed like this. He does have this piece out more. And in the instructions, on the rendered image, he has it. But there's nowhere does it say to do this in the instructions. So to transform this guy, you open this up, move his head in, fold that up. Back part, back piece of bumper comes down like this. Arms come up, twist, fold in, and straight back like that. You'll see this little tab sticking out here. And on the other side, same sort of thing. Like this, and then these two pieces of arm tab together. So you have something like that. Now, the legs go ahead and just tab those together right now. Take the flaps, move them up. Oh, wait, one thing you do before you tab. Before you tab the legs together, open the shin pieces, then tab the legs together. Then take this whole top part and just twist it. There's a joint in the middle. You just twist it around. And then the arms go in this cavity that remains where the legs are. And then kind of get all the tabs together. These flaps have tabs. There's there's a tab here, and there's like a tab here that goes in the arms. So you just kind of arrange all those tabs so they line up together. You press them together tightly, like so. Side tabs. Take the bumper, move it up, and it snaps into place. And there you have a Cybertronian van mode. Now, the only thing I'm not super fond of about this is the rear end. He has thrusters there, which I guess he had to do something with some detail. It's nice they put some detail on the underside of the feet, but they definitely just look to me like feet sticking out of the back. If they folded in or something else, I believe they would be a little nicer. He has the gold paint right here to kind of mimic the G1 on the side here, kind of the silver paint here, mimicking windows. The front end here, almost like Optimus Prime has. Now, in this mode, he has the retain support under here, 4 ports on the front, 4 ports on top, 2 on the back. And you could set his weapon in any one of these ports. On top, at the front, the back. You can even do kind of like this, where you can hold it on the side. There are options there, which is very nice. Does roll really well. I do wish that they painted his wheels. His wheels are very nicely detailed, but they could really use a splash of silver paint. Maybe even if they were not silver, black. I like what they've done with the other wheels on the other figures, especially Prowl. These just feel very bland, seeing the other figures have paint to them. Now, one thing, in the vehicle mode, this little code comes up. You can see it. I'm not sure what those are. All the figures have those as some type of product code or EC code or something like that, and I wish they had found a better location for it. But he does look pretty good as a van mode. Definitely looks like Ironhide. Definitely looks Cybertronian. So it's a decent, definitely is a very, very decent alt mode. So, in conclusion, this Ironhide figure is very nice. I highly recommend picking him up if you see him. Don't pass him by. He's a really good figure. He has a ton of good articulation, lots of great detail. Remember the chest issue, that the transformation on the chest? I believe it makes it look a lot better, fills out his chest cavity a bit. His weapon is one of the best weapons I've seen on a figure. It's amazing. I would say to absolutely pick this guy up, despite a couple flaws, which I wish they had paint on the wheels, and I would like to see a little less hollow bits in the arms. Otherwise, good figure. Absolutely pick him up if you see him. So until next time, please like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, dislike if you have to, and I'll see you next time.